cybercriminals are threatening to crash your stock price. What's up, everyone, and welcome. In this episode, we're going to talk about this new tactic used by ransomware gangs to try and force companies to pay the ransom. As usual, we will review the story, see what we can learn from it, followed by looking at ways to implement these learnings into our own cybersecurity plans, policies, and processes.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
Ransomware gangs are zeroing in on publicly held companies with the threat of financial exposure in an effort to encourage ransom payments, the FBI is warning. In an alert issued this week, the Bureau said that activity over the course of the past year shows a trend toward targeting companies when they're coming up to significant time-sensitive financial events, such as quarterly earnings reports and mandated SEC filings, initial public offerings, M&A activity, and so on. The idea is to ratchet up the extortion thumbscrews by threatening to leak stolen information relevant to these events if the target doesn't pay up. Impending events that could affect the victim's stock value, such as announcements or mergers and acquisitions, encourage ransomware actors to target a network or adjust their timeline for extortion, the feds noted.
They can't do this to me. I'm a citizen and a taxpayer. Who do they think they are? I'll show them.
Criminal organizations are realizing the ability to drive leverage in their extortion demands by targeting companies at critical inflection points in their growth, he said via email. This is a strategic play on an otherwise familiar ransomware attack. Any company that doesn't prepare for this attack is risking their ability to operate or fulfill their obligation to shareholders. Last year, the ransomware actor who goes by the handle Unknown, who's believed to be a former leader of the rebel group, appeared to mastermind the approach, suggesting in the Exploit Russian Hacking Forum that a good way to sway targets to succumb to ransom demands is by referencing their corporate presence on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. Soon, some were following the advice. Following this posting, unidentified ransomware actors negotiating a payment with a victim during a March 2020 ransom event stated, "We have also noticed that you have stocks. If you will not engage us for a negotiation, we will leak your data to the Nasdaq and we'll see what's gonna happen with your stocks," according to the alert. Also last year, at least 3 publicly traded U.S. companies actively involved in M&A negotiations were hit with ransomware. As well, a technical analysis of the Pixie remote access Trojan, which acts as a first-stage implant that eventually delivers the Defray 777, or also known Ransom EXX ransomware, it revealed several financially related keyword searches, the FBI said. These include 10Q, referring to a quarterly report that must be submitted by all publicly traded companies disclosing relevant information regarding finances. 10SB, which is a form used to register the securities of small businesses that want to trade on U.S. exchanges, and NCSR, a form that must be filed within 10 days of a company issuing annual and semi-annual reports to stockholders. Other keywords included NASDAQ, MarketWired, and Newswire. In April, the DarkSide ransomware gang, a group that the FBI has blamed for the Colonial Pipeline attack, posted a plan to use victims' share price as extortion leverage, according to the FBI, and they offered to teach others how to do the same thing. The message said, "Now our team and partners encrypt many companies that are trading on NASDAQ and other stock exchanges. If the company refuses to pay, we are ready to provide information before the publication so that it would be possible to earn in the reduction price of shares. Write to us contact us, and we will provide you with detailed information." Bill Lawrence, CISO at SecurityGate, noted that companies should now be on high alert when going public, executing mergers or acquisitions, or going through other significant financial events, and should tightly control information, including public information. The only issue I have with that statement is that oftentimes cyber gangs have been in your system for months and months and months, or days or weeks, and sometimes even years. So only tightening up your security right around the time you're going to go public, it could be actually too late.
We'll just have to outsmart them. Here's my scheme.
Companies should especially keep their guard up during these types of events and use third-party penetration testers and thorough risk assessments to try to find the security gaps in types of data that will be helpful to criminals, he noted in the email. They should always ensure their public-facing information is controlled carefully while sensitive financial or other data is encrypted and backed up to another secure location. Two-factor and multi-factor authentication can help secure vulnerable accounts. Now, these are things that you should be doing all the time. Again, I'll revert to my previous statement that only heightening your security around the time when you're going to go public or do an M&A, oftentimes it's too late because these guys have been in your network, doing recon for the past couple of months. Meanwhile, Haystack's Breton advised that the most important preventative action any company can do is to invest in a cybersecurity team. This is quickly becoming table stakes in this current climate of cyber attacks, he said. We have the technology to find critical talent, even in a tight labor market. We need to find the next generation of cyber professionals and get them into the fight, or this threat will only continue to grow. Kind of sounds as if he's marketing his own services, but he's right. You need to invest in a cybersecurity team, or you continue to invest in your cybersecurity team. The targeting of information specifically damaging to share price isn't the only emerging ransomware trend. Last week, the FBI said that the Hello Kitty group of cybercriminals, also known as Five Hands, has added the threat of distributed denial of service attacks, or DDoS attacks, to its mix of persuasion tactics. Hello Kitty actors aggressively apply pressure to victims, typically using the double extortion technique the FBI warned in an alert on Friday, referring to the double whammy of encrypting files and exfiltrating information to make public if ransoms aren't paid. It added, in some cases, if the victim does not respond quickly or does not pay the ransom, the threat actors will launch a DDoS attack on the victim's company's public-facing website. Hello Kitty is known for hitting CD Projekt Red, the game developer behind Cyberpunk 2077, with ransomware earlier this year. It typically tailors its ransom demands to targets and is known for using compromised credentials or known vulnerabilities in SonicWall products for initial access to corporate networks. Using DDoS is increasingly a part of so-called quadruple extortion attacks. Last year, the Suncrypt ransomware group drew praise from a Revel higher-up for pioneering the idea. So, what can we learn? Now, we can see that these attackers are really after the most sensitive and embarrassing data they can get their hands on. This is how they could leverage you to actually pay the ransom. It exemplifies the importance of having this type of highly sensitive data surrounded with extra protection to avoid leakage. We also saw recommendations from top cybersecurity companies on things to take note. Specifically, get yourself a cybersecurity team. Now, this does not need to be an internal team. If you can't afford the added salaries for a team of, say, 3 to 5 people, or at least people of senior caliber that would be able to take on this kind of job, you can always hire a third-party company or maybe even a reputable freelancer group. Now, in the case of any company, external or freelancer, you definitely need to get referrals and do your due diligence on the company. You want to make sure that they're not cyber criminals who are just fronting as a cybersecurity company, and in the end, that they're really the ones who are going to attack you. Well, that would really hurt. We also see that backups are still critical. Now, yes, the cyber criminals already have your data, so they could leak it. But if your entire systems are locked up with ransomware so that you can't even perform business, and on top of that, they leak your information, it can be extremely devastating in today's climate. So, get in touch with your IT team, find out what they need in terms of team, resources, experience, learnings, tutorials, whatever they need, and make that one of your highest priorities right now, because, as I said, you can't do it right around when you're having a merger and acquisition, or you're announcing it, or you're going public, because oftentimes these attackers are already in your system. With that, I say thanks for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the bell if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.